So this is our crew today. We'd like to welcome you out to the A&J and ELGA show today. Welcome to today's episode of A&J. Today, I'm Jenny.
I'm Ashley.
And today, we're going to talk about funny mission language gaffes. That's a good word to use for that, right?
Gaffes?
Yeah, gaff. Have you heard of it? For all of you youngins out there who don't know what a gaff is, it's an awkward, like, oops in the language. So Perfect. I'll start off. This is the funniest one that, this is the one that really caught me off guard. In Brazil, they drink a lot of green coconut water. And the word for coconut is coco. The word, no, actually I got it backwards. I just almost did it again. The word for coconut is coco. It's spelled C-O-C-O. The word for poo is coco. So
you asked somebody for some poo water?
Even worse. I was late to a district meeting because my companion and I on this beautiful sunny day on our way to district meeting passed this little boatezinho, like little cafe thing where the guy was selling green coconut water, like gelado. Oh my gosh, I can't even speak English anymore. It's been like 30 years. What's wrong with me?
You're fine. It's a language episode.
Frozen, cold, gelado, cold, ice cold green coconut water. And he had like, he was missing half the fingers on his hand because, you know, his big giant machete would be like, I'm sure he's like lost some fingers during the, you know, doing it. I mean, they're all healed, but it was a little jarring to be like, oh, you're missing like half your fingers. And he's like, yeah, I've had this little shack for like 10 years.
Well, they just like hack into it.
I know, they totally do. And then they like, so you drink the cold water and they hack it open and cut a little piece of the outer husk and you can scoop it and eat the little jelly fat stuff inside. It's so delicious and it's so good. So I'm sitting there drinking it and I'm like, we're gonna be late for our district meeting. And my companion's like, it's okay. So we're like, okay. So we roll in about 10, 15 minutes late. And my district leader is like, sisters, where were you? And I turn to him and I say, well, sorry, we had to stop and drink some green poo water instead of green coconut water. And he's like, come again?
Green poop water.
And I'm like, green poo water? And everybody at this point is uproariously laughing. My companion's like, you mean green coconut water? And I'm like, that's what I said. And she's like, I'll explain it later. That's so tricky.
Really funny. I only had one time that I had a language mishap. And it was when I was teaching a younger girl about the 10 commandments. And so there's only one verse where there's 2 commandments in the same verse, right?
Right.
And it's when he's teaching adultery and stealing. And I had swapped the order of them in my mind. So I'm conjugating this verb for adultery. And I'm talking to this little girl about like, well, how would you feel if someone adulterized you? And she's like, what? And then I'm like, well, like if you had someone come and commit adultery with your shoes. Thinking I'm saying like, what if somebody stole your shoes? You know, how would that make you feel? And she's like, sis, like, I'd feel really bad. And I'm like, yeah, right? You'd feel really bad about that. Like,
what is your companion saying about this?
She was just laughing, sitting next to me. And I kept thinking like, that is so funny. Like I must have said something weird or what, not thinking like I made a big oopsie. Like I probably just pronounced something weirder. And finally she just like taps me because she's just laughing. And she's like, hold on. So she explains it all again and the girl goes, oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, here's a funny one. In Brazil, when you're teaching people, you're like, hey, would you like to come to church with us on Sunday? Come to church with us on Sunday. Here's where the church is at, and we can meet you there. Our meetings are at such and such a time. And the guys, like 9 times out of 10, one of the things keeping the men from church is playing soccer on Sunday. And when they would tell us about it, he's like, no, I'm going to go jogar pelado on Sunday, or pelada. I can't remember, pelada. And I'm like, pelada? And I know that means naked. And I'm like, you're going to go play naked on Sunday? And I'm kind of just trying to play it cool, like, oh, okay. Well, we'd love to see you. It's at this time. I hope you come. And about 9 months into my mission, after hearing this over and over and over, I finally asked my bishop, I'm like, why do all the men get together on Sunday and play soccer naked? And he's like, what? What? And I'm like, well, you know, jogar pelada. And he's like, oh, yeah, I guess that does say we play naked. No, we're not naked. It's just we're like barefoot or without our shirts on. And I'm like, oh, that's a relief. Well, thank you so much for tuning in today. We've enjoyed kind of going down the memory lane, reliving some of the funny experiences and language gaffes of our mission. Gaffes, use that again.
Well, that's it for us today. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week
on AJ Today. Hi. Wonderful kids. And when my sister watches this segment and sees that her son that is staying with us is still in his jammies, I'm just going to say, what's the difference between jammies and real clothes? There's not that much of a difference. It's okay.